So I do think seeing someone come out to my second favourite Disney song, my first is I'll Make a Man Out of You from Mulan, sorry, not sorry, but seeing someone come out to Go the Distance, which is an absolute belter, that has ticked something off my wrestling bucket list that I didn't know I needed. So Alexis Falcon, thank you. Hello and welcome to FCTR, I am Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about Progress Wrestling Chapter 175, Unboxing the Curtain Call. Now, for anyone who is unfamiliar with Unboxing is a show that Progress does every Christmas, and every match is under wraps. Sometimes they'll announce one or another. They announced Simon Miller versus Tate Mayfair's last year, and they announced that El Hijo del Vikingo was competing at this show. But other than that, all the other matches were under wraps. No one knew what to expect, and I think that is a really fun concept for a show. And did Unboxing deliver as a big surprise event? Yes, it did. This show, excuse me for misspeaking, this show was really, really fun. It was a really fun, just wide array of wrestling, from comedy, from like heartfelt and emotional storytelling, to insane work rate in the main event, to just insane surprises throughout. This was a stacked old show that had some incredible moments on it that will be remembered in the lineage of British wrestling. But before we dive into my full review, please hit subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts down below, and I'll try to reply to every single one of them as we dive into this. Starting with just the overall presentation of Unboxing, I thought it was fantastic. It was really, really cool. The surprises delivered, the matches delivered, and everything you could want from a wrestling show, I think, was on this show. I genuinely think it was. I don't think there were any like amazing match of the year contenders that will make my list. There were some incredibly good matches, but I think this was just a really strong show from top to bottom, and I have very few issues with it. So shall we just dive into my full review, starting with Jerry Bakewell opening the show, which is always good. A really cool video package to open the show. It was all good. And then we had our first match, and to kick things off, we had Kid Lycos 2 versus El Hijo del Vikingo. Now, Vikingo, you're probably familiar with. You've probably seen some of his matches or clips from his matches with Kenny Omega. He is one of the best luchadors, if not the best luchador in the world right now. He was going to have a match with Cara Noir at Vendetta, but sadly had to cancel due to injury. And here he is making his European debut in the Electric Ballroom. This match, regardless of what happened at the end, spoiler alert, Vikingo sustained an injury and the match did have to be called off. Regardless of what happened there, I thought this match was really damn good. These two worked really, really well together, and I've got to give props to Lycos 2. I think Lycos 2 is, he's so underrated. Like, when he's with Lycos, you think of Lycos, you think world champion Lycos, but Kid Lycos 2, I think in terms of his in-ring work, is really underrated, and he matched so well with Vikingo in this match, starting off with technical wrestling and then trying to one-up each other with springboard moves and slowly escalating from there. It led to this really cool sequence in which Lycos 2 hit a Poison Rana, a springboard Poison Rana, and then Vikingo hit a springboard crucifix driver. That was really, really awesome, really cool to see. And then, I think it was off a sunset flip bomb. Something happened with Vikingo's leg and the match was called off. It went about 15 minutes. I really hope that Vikingo's okay, and anyone who talks shit about a match being called off, you can go fuck yourselves, because the safety of the performers is paramount to everything. They're the ones competing, and I think it was the correct decision. It was obviously the correct decision. If Vikingo's hurt, he shouldn't have carried on if he couldn't, and I think it was really well handled. Everything, the match, what happened afterwards, and then I don't know if this was a was always going to happen, or if this was just a call an audible while Vikingo's being taken away. But then Connor Mills comes down and starts beating down Lycos too. Then we get Nico Angelo coming out and Lycos making the save. It was a really well executed angle. I think this was a genuinely really good match, and it's a real shame that it didn't finish. But I hope Vikingo's okay at the end of the day. Next up, we had Axel Tischer coming out with Big Damo. We have Sanity in the Electric Ballroom, and they cut a scathing promo on Sunshine Machine. That eventual Sunshine Machine versus Sanity match is going to be amazing. But then Damo's like, I've found you a challenger for the Atlas Championship. I found the biggest guy in the Progress locker room. And you know who that is? It's me. And then we have a friendly competition of Axel Tischer versus Big Damo. Sanity imploding, but not really imploding. And this was really, really fun. I really liked Axel Tischer constantly hugging Damo. And Damo, I think you could tell he really wants that title. Axel Tischer was kind of feeling it a bit more friendly, but Damo was a little bit more unforgiving, and I liked that little edge throughout the match. It was really hard-hitting. It was a hard-hitting, big, meaty men match, and that's all you can expect from an Atlas Championship match. Like, if that is what you get when you go into an Atlas Championship match. You had great feats of strength from Axel Tischer, powering up Damo, catching the divide, and hitting a power slam. Great feat of strength. Really, really loved that. And then you had Damo going up for the Belfast Blitz, missing it, and you eventually had Axel Tischer getting Damo up for a powerbomb, a sit-out powerbomb to pick up the win. Axel Tischer retaining. Right decision. I like this. I don't hope that Sanity break up, but I hope there's a little bit of dissension within Sanity and a little bit of unsureness between Damo and Tischer. I think that'd be quite interesting going into the Sunshine Machine feud, particularly because they've got there's a little bit of tension there between Sunshine Machine. Yeah, I thought this was a really strong Atlas Championship match, and I want to see more Atlas Championship matches, to be honest. Then we had probably the biggest surprise, maybe the biggest surprise of the night. We had two damn big surprises on this show. Well, technically three if you count the title change. But we had Charles Crowley making his return. The spectacular twat is back, and he made his way to the ring. He cuts a promo about how he's been gone for so long. He's not been seen since, I think, Super Strong Style. And he cuts a great promo. Says who in the locker room is ready to face Crowley. And then you hear it. You hear the song Go the Distance from Hercules. If you don't like Hercules, if you don't like Go the Distance, then you're wrong. I hate to say it, because it is the second best Disney film and Disney song, compared to Mulan, I'll Make a Man Out of You. But that being said, Go the Distance plays, and out comes the returning from injury Alexis Falcon. Alexis Falcon is great. She's so good, and it was such a shame that she went out with injury. But to see her back with her cheeky little buggers partner and those two having a match together, the emotion on the face of Falcon, it was genuinely heartwarming. It was heartwarming. It was like, I was like, hold back the tears. Go the Distance is playing, hold back the tears. And yeah, it was really emotional seeing her in the ring, and the response that she got from the Electric Ballroom was amazing, absolutely amazing. And then she put on a really good match with Charles Crowley, and they were sort of playing up what happened in the last match with Alexis Falcon going for hugs, this time on Charles Crowley, but Crowley kind of rejecting them every time. The first one, he got her in a headlock, and the second one, she was up on the top rope and hit a massive belly-to-belly slam onto the ring. It was really, really cool. And yeah, they just played up this friendship really, really well. And Alexis Falcon picked up the win. She managed to pin Charles Crowley clean in the middle of the ring. This was really well done. And the promo after, when the cheeky little buggers go their separate ways, Charles Crowley's onto singles gold. Alexis Falcon seems like she's onto singles gold. And they are going to go their separate ways. I thought that was really well done and really well executed, setting up two new stars for singles competition, as well as giving us a satisfying end to the cheeky little buggers. I think it worked so well, and I'm happy to see Crowley and Fulcrum back in progress. This was a really solid match, really great angle afterwards. It was, near enough perfect for me. Then I think we maybe did get potentially the biggest shock of the night, because Mark Haskins comes out with Vicky Haskins, and I was like, I love Mark Haskins. He's just one of the best wrestlers in the world, and probably the most underrated, so I can't wait to see who he has a banger with. And then, I don't think anyone could have expected who it would be. If you did, I think you're wrong. But on the Tron, now we play Michael frickin' Oku and Amira. Like, what? It felt like, the way I can describe this, because for those of you who don't know, Michael Oku, current Rev Pro champion, he had a banger match with Will Ospreay. He beat lost to Luke Jacobs, the Rev Pro title, then won it back. So he's now the current Rev Pro champion. He is like synonymous with Rev Pro, in my opinion. He is like the face of Revolution Pro Wrestling. And when I think of Rev Pro, I think of Michael Oku. To see Michael Oku back in progress after 5 years, it was like seeing John Cena walk into an AEW ring, or it was like seeing Kenny Omega walk out at WrestleMania. Those things just don't match. It's so hard to get my head around. But yeah, seeing Michael Oku in a Progress ring, awesome. It was so cool. Such a great surprise. Got an amazing pop and put on an amazing match with Haskins. This was really good. I really liked everything that these guys did. I liked the interplay between Vicky Haskins and Amira as well on the outside, how that led into the finish. You had matching technical stuff, then you had them matching strikes. It all went seamlessly. It was a seamless match, apart from the one bit in the middle where someone rang the bell and everyone was like, oh, that was a bit strange. Mark Haskins was in the half crab, didn't tap out though, and it was like, that was a bit strange, but it is what it is. The match continued, they recovered it very well, and then they just went into a huge striking war, which was awesome. Mark Haskins is great at striking, and he got the upper hand. You had a great near fall towards the end where he looked to cheat. He was going to use a crowbar. Then Amira came in, she grabbed the crowbar, the ref turns around, looks like she's going to get ejected. Then Vicky Haskins comes in, she knocks out Amira, gives a low blow to Michael Oku, and Haskins hits the sort of sit-out driver that he does for a great near fall. That was really awesome. You had some great spots in the middle where Michael Oku was just going that quick. He was going like a million miles an hour, hitting the top rope moonsault and everything like that. Picture perfect. Then he hit two frog splashes on Mark Haskins for the 1, 2, 3, picking up the win, and after 5 years getting another win in Progress Wrestling. This was so cool. It was just a really cool exhibition match. There was a promo shown afterwards where Michael Oku was saying how he potentially could be back, so we may well see Michael Oku back in a Progress ring. If it's me, Cara Noir versus Michael Oku, please. Yes, please. That's what I'd like in a Progress ring. Let's try and make that happen. But yeah, this was great surprise, really fun, and I can't wait to see what else Michael Oku does. Then we got craziness. We just got madness, because it looks like the show is going to go to break. It looks like we're going to get an interval. But out come Moth Dog, Will Cruz, Session Moth Martina, and Gene Money. They come out and they cut a promo on Jerry. They say they've got a match, they've got a tag match scheduled, and then out comes Simon Miller. And Simon Miller says, I spoke to management, we can have a tag match. It's going to be me and Jerry. And it's Jerry Bakewell. And I was like, right, okay, we're doing this. This is going to be hilarious. This is going to be so fun. But then before the match can get underway, Gene Money also calls Jerry Bakewell's son, 10-month-old son, a bitch. Okay. And then before the match can get underway, we have the Smoking Aces come out, and this match turns into a tornado tag. And it was just carnage. it was just complete and utter carnage. You had comedy in there, you had high spots in there, you had just everything you could ask for in professional wrestling was in this match, and it was so mind-blowingly bizarre, crazy, and just cool to see. You had some really nice interactions in there with G Money and Simon Miller. I really like how that feud's playing out. You had Simon hitting a great spear, and then everyone just low blowing G Money, hitting the Shattered Dreams on him, because G Money went on a low blowing spree and just kept nailing everyone with these shots in the low blows. And yeah, low blows played a big part in this match. It was really good, just really, really good. The Smoking Aces, they purposely felt like the outsiders. They were the wrestlers, the true wrestlers in this match, whereas the other two were playing things up for comedy. And Jerry Bakewell holding his own, hitting a Hurricane Rana, was awesome. I really, really loved that. And he looked cool. It was a really cool sort of exposure to that, to Jerry Bakewell wrestling. It was so, so good. And I thought this was so fun. Smoking Aces picked up the win. I think that was inevitable. As soon as they were added to the match, I was like, okay, Smoking Aces aren't losing this. But it was so fun. Like, so, so fun. Everything, and I'll say this in pretty much every Progress review that I do, I feel like everything G Money touches turns to gold. He is one of my favourite wrestlers working today, because everything he does touch turns to gold. So yeah, go out of your way to watch some G Money stuff, because you'll be in stitches for most of it. Then we got the intermission, and then we got the Thunder Bastard match. Now, for anyone who's unaware, the Thunder Bastard is kind of like a Royal Rumble. You have people enter at different intervals, and it is elimination based. So there were 7 entries in this Thunder Bastard match. So the match started with Kid Lycos and Rain Leverkusen. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Starting off, making her Progress Wrestling debut. That was really cool to see, because she's awesome. And these two had really good chemistry in the ring. They kept going after each other, really fast paced. Lycos went to hit a brain buster. It was really, really cool. I really liked what they did. Then we had entrant number 3 coming, which was Session Moth Martina, and she's obviously the bad guy. So she got beat up. She got beat up by these two. They teamed up to take out Session Moth, and I thought that just makes sense. It makes sense story wise. Then you had Eddie Dennis come in at number 4 for a great reaction, great pop. Everyone loves his music. Him and Lycos had really good chemistry. I thought that was really, really well executed. And I want to point out that number 5 was Tate Mayfair's. Tate and Lycos, they had insane chemistry in this match. That was the section of the match where it was Tate and Lycos going after each other that I was like, okay, this is awesome. This is like really, really cool, because they just matched so well together. And seeing Tate as a babyface is strange but cool, because I think he can pull off the babyface stuff. We saw it after the match, which we'll get to in just a little bit, but I think the babyface reaction for Tate Mayfair's works really well. I think he will be a great babyface going forward for Progress, or he'll do the heel turn on Eddie Dennis. He's great at face and great at heel. I've just never really seen him do much face stuff, and seen him in this Thunder Bastard match being a babyface and doing sort of like more high-flying spots, more showy spots, and playing up to the crowd and stuff like that. I was like, Tate's really got this. He's really got this down to a T. Then you had Lana Austin come in at number 6, and yeah, Lana Austin. We all know Lana Austin. She came in, she's building this feud with Leverkusen, so they had some really good interactions in here. Lana Austin hit a headbutt on her, and I was like, oh my god, that looked amazing. That was so, so good. And then the final entrant was Nico Angelo, who made a beeline for Lycos, started battering Lycos, stomping him so much on the apron that the referee called the match off. Well, not called the match off, disqualified Nico Angelo. So Nico Angelo could not continue. He was disqualified from the match. You had Session Moth get eliminated earlier. You had Lana Austin pinning Lycos. Then you had, I believe, Lana Austin also pinning Leverkusen, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure I did. I didn't write that down on my notes, but yes, I'm pretty sure she did. Tate Mayfair's took out Lana Austin. Then you had Eddie Dennis and Tate Mayfair's, the two friends. who've got this story going on, is really, really cool. It's really good stuff. Tate Mayfair's picked up the win, which I think was the right decision. I do think that was the right decision. We've had Luke versus Eddie, and I think this story between Eddie and Tate is one of the most compelling things in progress right now. The sort of, can Tate turn to the good side? Because he said he might come out at the main event and cash in his title shot that he won from the Thunder Bastard on Luke Jacobs. So that was kind of teased, and Eddie Dennis sort of talked him out of it. I want you to be the better man in a really great promo. And then I was sort of left on that cliffhanger until the main event. So yeah, this was a really good Thunder Bastard match. Not the best Thunder Bastard match that I've ever seen, but I think it was effective in furthering feuds because it furthered Nico and Lykos. It furthered Leverkusen, and Lana Austin, and it furthered Eddie and Tate. So it was really effective in that regard, and I think it deserves props for that. Then I think we've got the bit of the show that doesn't sit right with me. I don't know what the online reaction to this was, or the sort of reaction in general, but Rio comes out to cut a promo, basically an open challenge. Says she's held this, she wants to beat Ginny's record, and you get a really good fake out when she issues the open challenge of Miko Satomura's music playing. Nina Samuels jumps her, destroys her, hits a package pile driver onto a chair to Rio, and sort of calls out Rio as she's being taken away to the back, as she's being taken out, like, oh, you're a wussy bitch. You basically issued an open challenge, you're not going to do it. And Rio, the fighting champion, goes into the ring and gets squashed. You know, she's cradling her neck. She's had a package pile driver, which we've established is a pretty devastating move, onto a chair, gets hit by the Starstruck, and then 1, 2, 3. So I don't know how I feel about this. With it being such a long reign for Rio, I feel like it needed a little bit more. This was a little bit underwhelming of a way to end over a year-long reign. Like, I love Nina Samuels, but I would have rather have seen this paid off in some sort of, I don't know, just like some sort of stip, or like a really hard fought match. I think Rio being like cheated out of it feels a little, I don't know. I wasn't keen on this in particular. This didn't particularly sit well with me. And I think Rio deserved a little bit of a stronger way to drop the title. I'm excited to see where Nina Samuels' reign goes from here. But as an overall way to cap off Rio's historic reign, I was left a little bit underwhelmed. And then we have the main event. The main event was a 4-way match, which Luke Jacobs was not very happy about, between Luke Jacobs, Man Like DeReiss, Leon Slater, and Ricky Knight Jr. All really good contenders for Luke's title, and this was a banger. This was an absolute banger. Like, Luke has got a lot of things to live up to. His match with Leon I thought was really, really awesome. His match with DeReiss I thought was really awesome. He's had banger singles matches with Ricky Knight Jr. So putting them all in one pot, in one concoction, is a tall order, because that's got a lot to follow. Personally, I didn't think this match was as good as the singles matches. I thought it was really exceptional for a Fatal 4-Way. It was an absolute banger. Particularly towards the end, you got the really cool, like, high spots of the match. But I thought they told a really good story of everyone just ganging up on Luke, because Luke has been a dick to everyone. He's cheated people out of wins. He's done everything, all the underhanded tactics to try and retain his title, and getting Ricky Knight, getting DeReiss, getting Leon, just ganging up on him, destroying him, hitting him with the belt, giving him a taste of his own medicine, I thought was a really good way to sort of pay off a lot of the frustration that these guys have had, and then them individually go for each other, which worked really well throughout the match. Like, it was mainly those three going up against Luke, and then going like more sportsmanlike against each other. Then Luke would come in and start battering people, then everyone would gang up on Luke again. It was really well structured in that way. I liked the ending a lot. The ending was really cool. You had Luke pouring with blood. He's been busted open from a title shot, and he's sort of in the corner, and you have all three guys facing him down. It looks like they're going to go for each other, but DeReiss super kicks Leon. Not quite a heel turn, very reminiscent of Shawn and Triple H from Survivor Series '09, super kicking him. It was played up on commentary like, oh, this is kind of a big deal. And ultimately, was that the undoing? Was that the undoing of boisterous behaviour in this match? Because you had them going after each other. You had Leon go for the Swanton 450 and hit it, but then get taken out by Luke and hit a really gnarly like Tiger Driver on him, picking up the win. Luke retained, by the way. It was a really good four-way. But I think the story ramifications for this are very, very tasty. I think Ricky Knight being this sort of killer on the outside who didn't get pinned yet again, he's still in that mix. But Doris and Slater, that's where I think your money is. That is a massive. If they ever implode, you tease the splits, tease Doris getting a bit more annoyed at Leon Slater, and you eventually do that split. I think that feud is absolute money because it would be fantastic. The matches, the promos, everything, they are so beloved that seeing this team torn apart would break people. And I mean that sincerely. After the match, Tate Mayfair comes out and he gets a really good reaction. Teases he's going to cash in on Luke, but instead says he will do it at the next show, do it the honourable way. Interesting. I think a lot of the stories that were set up throughout Unboxing were incredibly interesting. Like, the matches were really good, but what I came away from this show thinking was, I am intrigued by nearly all of the stories that you've told me here, whether it be Oku coming back, whether it be Luke and Tate, Eddie and Tate, Doris and Slater, Rio, Nina Samuels' run, Sunshine Machine and Sanity. I feel like the stories are really kicking off and they're really getting going, and I'm intrigued to see where everything goes next. Overall, I would give Unboxing 4 out of 5. It was a really, really solid show, and one you should go out of your way to check out if you're interested in pro wrestling. And that about does it for today. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Have you seen the show? Were you there? Let me know and I'll try to reply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.